I know. Long time coming. So I dated a Jonas, and he taught me the hardest, most honest lessons about love. Sanvanani Dumalang, hello. I am your host, Norm with the Norm. Welcome to Norm. Let's get intimate. Let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of Normcast. And today it's all about my love lessons and how I got to this beautiful place that I'm at now. But it all started with a Jonas. Okay, so I dated a Jonas, and today I want to share what I learned from being with a person like that. So it all started. I was young, and there's another thing about opportunities. They find you when you're most like vulnerable. It's that age, that moment 20 something, where you tell yourself that by this certain age, I should have, a house and kids and a husband. So I was really like desperately. When I say desperate, like it's gonna be desperate. I would puke. Like every time I think about it, I want to puke because I was so desperate for love. Hold on, I was looking for love. I wanted it, and that's the thing. They can spot you. About Jonas, okay? They can spot you very nice. Me and Jonas, we're gonna name him Jonas because why not? Me and Jonas met at a small town. I had just moved into a small town. I'm not gonna say where because I don't want to give it away, and like I want to respect about. I respect Jonas. Isn't that crazy? I still want to respect his ass, but anyways, too much away. So I don't want this podcast to be about my life. I want this podcast to be about intimacy in all its forms, shapes, and ways. So we met. I was in a small town. I had just moved to a small town. Lesson number one, ladies: if you had just moved into a small town, make friends, make female friends. Do not let because when you just move to a small town, and nothing about small town, it's a small town. Everyone will know the new girl, and obviously you're gonna become like the hot thing in town. You're like the new girl, so you're gonna become very in demand, and that's the mistake I made. So lesson number one: make female friends when you move into a small town, so that your life is not just about this man. That was a mistake that I made. I had friends, but mainly I dated like as soon as I got there, because I just felt comfortable with him. It was just easy. So we met, we dated, and then my life kind of just revolved around him. Don't ever do that. Make sure you have a life outside of your man. Make sure that you have hobbies, you know places to go outside of him. And another thing, his friends became my friends. So it's like everybody that I knew and I was comfortable with were his people. Stay with me, bazalwane. So to cut the long story short, Shabu, I dated him for almost, let's just say a year and a half. It wasn't even a year and a half. It was almost a year and a half. So I dated him for maybe 1 year, 3 months. So what happened was in that 1 year, 3 months, after we celebrated our first year anniversary, I started seeing some red flags. I mean, they were there in the beginning, but they were not like bright red. They were like light red. Like, like for example, he was a smoker. So every time his phone would ring, he would kind of be like going to smoke and take his phone with. And in my head, I was like, yeah, if I was a smoker too, I wouldn't just want to be sitting outside and not being on my phone. I mean, I take my phone to poop. So I was like, take your phone to smoke. Makes sense. Can't you guys on the phone? And he was like a smoker. And smokers, every now and then they want to smoke. Let that slide. Can you see what I mean when I'm saying light red? It wasn't like, pa, in your face red. It was things that made sense. After that year, I mean, it just started getting ridiculous. Like you'd go MIA, but would come up with a good excuse and I would let it slide. Mind you, we kind of started living together. Lesson number two: do not go like ungakipiti ungamkipitisi kwakho. So, well, for me, it was like it was half at my place, half at his place. So maybe we'd spend a week by me, a week by him, type of thing. Like his clothes were by me at some point, but I never left. Okay, I did leave my clothes by him, but hardly. But most of the time he was by me. Do not keep it. It's a man. Okay, ngicela ukuthi nifunde kimi. Learn from me. Learn from. If it's one thing, please get. Lesson number two. Shabu. I got put into a WhatsApp chat. So I don't know how this girl got my number, but she put my number. In a WhatsApp, it's like you've been added to a group. They don't ask you, they just put you in. So she added me into a group with some of her friends. basically calling me out on some, you took my man, girls. That time I'm just like, huh? Girl, how? Like, I had no clue. I knew he had a baby mama, okay? But I didn't know he was dating someone else. And every time this girl would call, obviously it was her. I mean, I found out later it was the baby. He would say it's the baby mama. And I was just like, and then I had that thing in my head, baby mama's bunny. Lesson number 3. Never take a man's word. Like find out a lot of information that you can about the baby mama, because he lied about the baby mama's name. Child, that that girl in my head, the girl, when the phone would ring, I thought that was the baby mama. That wasn't even her name. Anyways, I needed a drink for this episode, but we cutting down on that. So hell, right, confront the guy. Obviously, I'm gonna confront him like, hey, yo, like, what's happening? And he was just like, I confronted him like, I'm done, with this relationship. So basically, I was dating him, let's say, for a year and a couple of months, and she had been with him for 3 years. So in between those 3 years of them being together, I came inside. Ngiphakathi lapha, you understand? So I'm in that. I go confront him. I'm like, so what's happening? I'm done. Can't do this. Ghetto. I'm like, leaving your hands. And it's just like, girl, where are you going? Calm down. Like, relax. Like, why would you leave me? Like, what are you actually mad about? Okay, because I was like, how can, it's been years with this girl. How can you do this to me? And he was just like, you only now just finding out about the 3 years. If we're being honest, before you knew about the 3 years or this girl, what was wrong with our relationship? Before she came and confronted you, like, what is the issue? What is the issue that you have with us besides her? Child, when I tell you, I had to sit down and think, because there was no issue. It was just her. So I'm sitting there on some, I angazi, oh. Like, I really had no answer. And he was like, exactly. You see, so the issue is her, and the issue is you finding out. Hey guys, can I also tell you something? About Jonas are very manipulative, and they will make you understand. It's giving, when Joyce ended up being the one to suggest this team, but I don't know if you're also the polygamist. But you end up being the one being like, okay, I'm gonna find a solution for him so that we can all work around this, because angazi kusuke kwenzakaleni, but love is a powerful drug. Honey. If you can take it, gamma portions, like, don't take it every year. Take a break from love. I always tell my friends, love is so powerful. Like, take a break, especially from loving people that are not from your family. Abantu bangaphandle, you need a break from that. So, anyways, it's like, you just mad that she found out, and like, honestly, there's nothing wrong with our relationship. You're just angry because you found out that I was dating someone else, but before you finding out, there was no issue, right? And I was like, yeah, right, like a dumbass. Like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, so just let that girl go. I'm gonna dump her anyway. She's starting to piss me off, because why is she arresting you? I don't want her to arrest you. I told her from the beginning she must never mess with you. Hey, nah. That's how he's saying it, because I'm like, yeah, really, she shouldn't mess with me. Why did she even? Yeah, that's right, baby. Don't tell her not to mess with me, because she can't. Do you know who I am? But like, he gasses you up in the moment as well. Like, he'll be like, yeah, because don't want anybody talking to my girl like that. Like, you my girl. Like, relax. I'm gonna handle her. And I just like, yeah, handle her. It's funny now, but that's how stupid and dumb I was. And he kind of handled her for a bit, and then she popped back up. But not when she popped back up, because she told me her name. So I already knew who she was. She's still calling his phones. So I also, after that whole thing, he kind of was just like trying to prove a point that she's done with him. Had the password to the bank card, to the phone, like everything. He's just like, take my phone to show you, that meanwhile he's lying. So this one time he's taking a shower, I think, and I'm on the bed lying, and his phone rings, and it's the girl. And I pick up. This time I pick up because I'm like, didn't my man tell you to leave him alone? Why are you still calling? But I'm not that crazy. I didn't go that wild. I just picked up the phone. She's like, hey baby. I'm like, hey, oh baby, why he's in the shower? I'll give him a message. Do you wanna leave him a message? And she's just like, yeah, just tell him to call me back. Is this Normie? And I was just like, yeah, girl. Like, every time I tell the story, I get so defeated at myself, and like level of my moral capacity, I didn't have any at the time. And the level of self love that I had, it was literally sitting on a negative 25. Like at that point, it was like, did I hate myself that much? Like every time I look back, I'm like, there's no way I loved myself at any point in that relationship. I hated myself. I loved him more than I loved myself. And that's another thing. I'll never forget this one time I had a client and I was like, we were having a conversation and I was going through it with Jonas and I would talk to my clients. It was an old lady and I was like going through it at the time and I was just like letting her know like, yo, Gogo. I remember I was calling her Gogo, but I used to call Gogo or Gail anyways. Where I used to work. I'm like, yo, girl, like ngiyagoa, this guy, and I give her like a breakdown. She's like, owakabani ukuthanda umfana? Okwakabani ukuthanda umfana? And that has stuck with me throughout my whole entire existence after that. Like, and I was just like, because I couldn't find a surname to link it to. I had to ask myself. So I was like, Ntombazane, there's akusokwazi ukuthanda umfana okomfana ukuthanda wena. So who have you heard? Who have you seen? Ubani wakutshela ukuthi umfana uyathanda? Oh, whoever that granny is, magogo lapho ukhona, and I catch you. Thanda sami wangishintsha ingqondo. And then it was just like something clicked in me, and I was like, honestly, truly, like, but the way she explained it was more like, you should love yourself first before loving a man. And I was just like, I've never heard that before, honestly. I've never heard that before from people that were close to me. It's always, "Gabekezelo kamfana, um, awuzokuchithela vele." And it's like, that must be something that we accept. Like, oh, he's gonna cheat anyway. So it was kind of like in my head, I kind of already had that in my head, like, and that is okay. And I've always been told that, yeah, like you fight for what you want. But that doesn't, ladies, that must not pertain to men, please. It should be for like the things you want in life, like money, like the job, your dream job, your education, the house, the business you're trying to start. Think that should be like what that pertains to. And from that day on, I was just like, deuces, Jonas, you know what I mean? Like, I'm done. But it took me so long to be done with him because I was so addicted to him. I was addicted to the thrill of him because I ain't gonna lie, me and that man had a ball. We had a ball. Like we had so much fun together. Like he was like and he was my friend before, you know, like umuntu abantu othandwa abantu. He was a vibe. We liked similar things. We would go out together. Like it was nice. And I think because also I was still in this small town and like I said, I didn't have friends, he kind of just became my world. And it was hard to decenter him and find myself outside of him. And that's such a ghetto feeling to kind of even forget because I forgot who I was without him in such a short period of time. I forgot like the things I liked. I remember I wanted to do radio, and he was like, why would you do radio? But he didn't want me to do radio because the guys that approached me for radio were actually working with the girlfriend, you know, the other girlfriend. So I was like, why would you do radio? That's so boring. And I was just like, yeah, that's so boring. Like, you just lose yourself in a man and never, ever again do that. Like, that's what I'm saying. Make sure you have your own life outside of him, even if it's the smallest things, even if it's going to do your nails. When I would go do my nails, he would drop me off while I'm doing my nails and he come pick me up. Like, and then I became a psycho, but like I became crazy. Like I was crazy in love. Like I was benhlanya. Like guys, I would tear his clothes. Ugh, ghetto. I remember I burnt his shoes. I gave his clothes to a hobo. And then, okay, this is just giving it away. But anyways, I gave his clothes to a hobo. And then the hobo, we would see him, like we'd get back together. Like our breakups would be like 3 to 4 days. Then after 4 days, we're back together. Literally for like, after that year, literally for like a good 3 months. He kind of went off of that. I think it turned him on that I was a little bit crazy because he'd be like, yeah, you're my crazy girl. And I mean, I love you the way you are. I love your craziness. Like he would amp me up to be crazy. He went off that. Like he was like, yeah, really, I'm the only person who accepts you for who you are, you know? And I mean, I understand you. And that's how, because you're doing all these psychotic things, you actually start to think that that's who you are. and that after him it's gonna be hard to be with people. I forgot that I was normal for like a year and a half. I forgot that I've never cut a man's shoes. The fuck? Like, I forgot that I was a normal person, and I forgot that I had boundaries that I set for myself. And leaving that type of relationship is so strenuous. Like, when I would break up with him, for example, he would stalk me, like literally go to everywhere I was. And since it's a small town, and the places that I went to, everybody knew him, right? They would tell him, they'll be like, "Your girl is here," and he would pop up. Let's say I'm having like a good time now with the friends that I eventually made. Next thing, I'm chilling, and he'd be like, "What you doing here? Let's go home. You my girlfriend. Let's go." You break up with him. He's like, "Nah, you're not breaking up with me. I asked you out. I started this relationship. I'm gonna end it." You know, it was nonsensical. Like, I kind of got nervous with breaking up with him after a while. And like every time he would try change, he would make a change. It would be a drastic change. Like, for example, because this girl wouldn't stop calling him, he was like, "Okay, since we're fighting over my phone, um, let me just break my phone. Let me not have a phone." So he took his phone and he put it under the car and he drove over it. He's like, "The phone is the thing that's making us fight. So now I don't have a phone. So now we're not gonna fight." Like, he would do like drastic things like that. And one of the biggest lessons for me was like, go with your gut. Like, from the beginning when I met this guy, I was like, I can only be friends with him because he was so cool. I'm like, he's too cool. Like, we can only be friends. I think we would be good friends. Listen to your gut, ladies, all the damn time. Like, if your gut is saying no, and if your gut is saying there's someone else, there were times where I felt like there might be someone else, but I didn't have proof. Don't go looking for the proof. You don't listen to yourself. Trust yourself in everything that you do. Like, I feel like God or your ancestors, the universe doesn't give you thoughts that are not fueled by something. So every thought that I had, don't wait for the proof. As soon as you think, most cases, it's that. Most cases is that your first instinct with meeting a person, especially a guy that you are gonna get into a relationship with, is usually the correct one. That relationship taught me a lot about love. It taught me how I want to love, how I want to be loved, how I want to be seen, how I want to be appreciated. Really, that love is more than just like materialistic things. Because I'm not gonna lie, he did a lot for me. Like, get me stuff, give me money. But there was every time like find him doing something crazy. And ladies, uskaba wiki, don't make rose petals make you weak. Because that man, he would put rose petals from the door to ngathi movie, to the bathtub, to the bed, angenzele angifunze ama-strawberries, anginikeze ama-massage in a bath, book me massages. Like, he was a very romantic guy. And like, romance, like, I don't know, like, yes, it can be romantic, love that for y'all, but also, what is his character? Do not ignore his character. As romantic and as fairy tale, because I feel like the more fairy tale it is, the more psychopathic the person is. Don't ignore his character. Don't be like, "Oh, but he does this for me." Never ignore his true character and what he shows you. When once you feel like you're getting confused in a relationship, it's time. Once love feels like it's a competition, because I feel like me and this girl ended up competing for his love. Like, on his birthday, this one time she got him this, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna get him this." Like, once you end up feeling like you're competing for his love, it's shy. And once you end up feeling like you no longer have you at the core, it's done. When you can no longer, guys, hold it, you can no longer sleep if he doesn't pick up the phone. That's a little bit crazy. Like, guys, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. He had condos up in my head. Like, he had rooms. Every corner of my mind was just filled with him. And I feel like that is not, once you start being obsessed with somebody, leave. It's gonna be very difficult to leave. I had to pray to God. I'll be like, "God, help me." I literally prayed to God. I'm like, "God, I can't do this. I can't leave this man on my own. You literally need to intervene." Like, I was "Mphahla, oh ngithi madoda ilwane nentombazane nakungasahambeki." And sometimes you just need other forces and other powers to come and get you out of there. And that's what I did. And that's what helped eventually. That love is not a competition. And there's no prize for a woman for being loyal. There's no prize. I never got anything for staying loyal to him. And there's no prize, guys. As much as this sucks, there's no prize for unconditional love. I feel like that's my biggest takeaway. Not that life should have a prize, but what I learned from this relationship is that love is conditional, and love comes with conditions from both parties, and that those conditions can be in the form of boundaries, in the form of certain things that your partner allows and that you don't allow. And when you love someone through them and they whole, oh no, he's just going through a phase and this is unconditional love. Love is conditional. Even with our parents and everybody, love is conditional. Yeah, it sucks, but it's the truth. And I thank you, Jonas. You know who you are, for letting me go through that shit and letting me learn more about myself and figuring myself. It sucks that I had to go through some of those because that it broke down my nervous system. It broke down the way I look at love. I'm scared to love. It broke down my trust, which fucked. And what it did, it really effed up my next relationship. Like, it was so hard for me to believe in good guys after him. Like, you would stay with a guy because he's good, but not because he loves you. You know? So it really does. It takes a lot of learning yourself mostly. And there's nothing as hard as that. Learning yourself, but we'll get into that. So I want us to, before I head out, I want us to normalize as following our guts, trusting our instincts, and being alone. Normalize not being afraid to be by yourself for a long time. And I want us to be okay with not having things at a certain age and to not like really focus our whole lives on love. There's so much more to life than love. That's what I also learned. There's so much more to living life than love. Loving a man, you know? Have you dated a Jonas in your life? If you have, let me know in the comments and let me know what the experience was. Like, I feel like as much as the polygamous is like not a true story, I feel like as a Black South African woman, we've all actually experienced Ujonas in some way, shape, form, or another. Or we are even like descendants of Ujonas, and it's crazy to think like maybe our great parents were descendants, or like our fathers were Abu Jonasi, and like I feel like all of us in our lives have had an interaction with Jonas, which is crazy to think, but it's true. I don't know anybody that hasn't had a typical Jonas experience in life. I cannot name a single person in my country, in my close circle, that hasn't had that experience, and it's crazy to me. I was like, I have to make this episode. I have to talk about this, but it's life. We live and we learn, and can't wait to see you next week or the next one or the next time when I come back, whenever that is. But I can't wait to see you, and I will see you very soon. Have a very, very productive week. Love and light. Because there will be a next one. Believe me, you. No, believe me, you, me. Believe you, me, you. Whether that takes me 3 or 6 months, there will be a next episode. Okay.